Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to round one of the SRO qualifier, the Community World Championship qualifier, brought to you by SimGrid, and also this is being brought to you by RaceFace.Pro. My name is Stephen Koenig, glad to have you guys here, and welcome to a beautiful circuit of Messino, a track that is going to challenge the drivers all the way through to seeing who can get the win. Remember, this is a circuit that is going to push everyone to their absolute limit, and it has got quite a bit on the line. This whole championship that is being run with RaceFace.Pro is in conjunction with other communities around the world. This is an opportunity brought to you by SRO Esports and SimGrid for the Community World Challenge qualifiers. That means we are finding the best of the best around the world to ensure that they represent their countries, they represent their nations, they represent sim racing at the highest level. And I gotta say, I'm super excited for this one because it is going to be a wild ride, ladies and gentlemen, and anything can happen here at Messino for round one, and we've got some intense racing to come for it, and only two of the drivers at the end of this championship will be able to move forward. So only two drivers will win the championship. It's only a 4-round series. Round one happening tonight at Messino. Couple of things to take a look at, though. It is definitely going to be Variante del Pelco, which is turn 1, turn 2, to keep an eye out for. Expect to see lots of carnage there if the drivers miss their braking markers. But taking a look at the practice, I don't think we're going to have that very problem. We do have pit wall up and going for you guys to keep track of all the live action as well from the timing screen, so it's always fantastic as we are going to be moving on to our qualifying round here at Messino. This is going to be the qualifiers for everyone to get out on the track, get to grips with what is happening out there, and I can tell you, it's going to be wild. So let's go down to the grid and take a look as they all come pouring out. So, running through the grid quickly while everyone's heading out. Henry Mayer out on the track. Martin Rotenbach, Bernard Barkhuizen, Tianus Buerta, Jason Farmer, Hansi Myberg, Fleming Bauer, Rob van der Heever, Adam Spinetsky. Keep an eye on this Lamborghini of the ITB Esports. They are incredibly quick in practice, actually being one of the very few cars that was able to get a 233 around the track while everyone was getting 234s. Donovan Denun is also one to keep an eye out for. Henry Platt, Gavin Scruton, Brandon Kruger, Jaco Nordia, Paul Fenter, Kerry Van Zale, Jaco Kutzer, Mordrake Larsens, Elwin Prim, also out on the track, Ronan van der Walt, Ruan Saliers, Chris Stoltz, along with Charles Darden, Bego Krobler, also known as Johan Bego Krobler, Andre Soradio, Terence Ferreira, Johan Kleinans, Mahayath Musa, Christian Zetzman, Werner Skuman, Barry Lubber, Franz Tarr, William Wentworth, and Ryan Barrington-Smith, rounding out our field of 34 cars for this championship. And I've got to say, super excited to see who's going to be able to take the win tonight, who's going to be able to claw their way to victory, and some monster news jumping on board for a big shout out to the SRO Esports providing this opportunity, and also to SimGrid going and saying, right, let's make this work, let's put a thing together. And well, RaceFace.Pro being selected as one of the communities amongst the entire world to be able to put this race together is absolutely an honor. But we're going to have the fastest of the fast. Majority of the drivers here are South African, so they are now representing South Africa, hoping to claw their way up through the ladder, see who will be able to take the victory right here for round one of the RaceFace.Pro SRO SimGrid Community World Challenge Qualifier, as they already starting to get those first laps in. They on their hot laps, they're trying to get those banker laps in, don't want to go and exceed track limits, which is very easy to do around Messino. as they power their way through. It's very easy to drop a wheel off on the dirt, to gain that little bit of understeer, especially with cold tires at the moment and low fuel going and being a big contributing factor. Quickest lap time, though, in practice was set by Adam Spinetsky, who went and got that 2:33. He's looking to do that once again because the rest of the field battled to get that very same lap time. I do think this is a driver to keep a very close eye on, utilizing a lot of the circuit to try and move his way forward, and being one of the very few non-South Africans. So times coming in, not a 2:33, and a 2:32 coming in by Henry Meyer at the top of the charts. Bernard Barkhuizen, a 1:33, and Tianus Buerta putting in a 1:34. Martin Rotenbach with a 1:34. We're waiting for the rest of the field to be able to put a time in. There's a couple of drivers that have put in a time, but they went and got off circuit. Tianus Buerta coming across and making his way through. But a couple of drivers that unfortunately invalidated their lap times is like Fleming Bauer, Adam Spinetsky. We saw him go wide and lose out a bit of traction. Brandon Kruger being one of them. Jaco Nadir as well. So a couple of drivers having to really dig deep on this one. Henry Meyer, top of the charts at the moment, and using a very interesting livery for anyone that knows Looney Tunes and goes way back in the days of Looney Tunes. That is Martin the Martian. I always love to see it. I always love to talk about that. Big fans of cartoons, and it's always good to see that drivers putting a lot of their personality into the liveries that they pick. Project Vapor being case in point. They've been continuing this more of a retro style, this dulled out color that's a bit eye-catching, but at the same time not just too flashy. As Andres Aradio puts himself into third place. He's behind Bernard Barkhuizen at the moment. He's trying to put an banker lap in. Chris Stolz, who has also done an incredible job for Delta Negative, going and sporting a more towards the American NASCAR style livery out on the circuit. Jaco Kutza in more of the Golf colors as he makes his way around. So he is currently 0.4 up on his lap time. Then we have got Paul Fenter of Logistical Nightmare Racing, who is making his way through. He's one of the representations from a community here in South Africa called Logistical Nightmare Racing, and he is under the team name of Drivers of Chaos. It's always good to have a bit of chaos sprinkled in every so often. Mordre Claessens making his way around the circuit in more the Pink Rexy style, and powering his way around the circuit. Henry Meyer still at the top of the charts, 1:32.9, but Bernard Barkhuizen is starting to creep in those lap times and starting to get a little bit closer. Last lap was a 33.3, and Kerry van Zyl going and putting himself into third place. The Pandassi driver trying to really step it up, which is always interesting to see, utilizing the BMW M4 GT3, one of the old go-tos in the world of Assetto Corsa Competizione, actually taking the place of the Bentley and the Aston Martin V8 Vantage, as they were the more stable cars. The BMW has taken that. Bego Krobler, also known as Johan Bego Krobler of Hybrid Racing Pro 1, utilizing the Porsche, hoping that a little bit more rotation will be a big difference. He's been working on setups for that car for quite some time, actually starting from last year to build up to this event. Henry Meyer comes across the line with a 32.7 to improve. Bernard Barkhuizen got close at 32.9, but that is not going to help him out. Kerry van Zyl, though, going a little bit too wide. I think that is going to be, unfortunately, a off track for him, and the time will be deleted. Johan Kleinans running in 6th place. Jaco Kutza currently in 7th position. He's going to come across and just not able to improve his lap time, trying to take as much of the curb as possible in turn 1, turn 2, try and straight line it as much as possible to get it all sorted out, carry the momentum through, and be able to claw his way through. And here we go. Adam Spinetsky going and putting himself with a 1:32.057. Now that is 0.6 of a second faster than Henry Meyer. He's one of the drivers I said keep an eye out for. Very quick. But let's see if he can keep that pace throughout the race. It's going to be a bit of a challenging one as the drivers will need to do a pit stop during the course of the race. Johan Kleinans, though, down in 7th position. Jaco Kutzer in 8th. Chris Stolz is currently lying in 9th position, trying to chase his teammate, Johan Bego Krobler. He is currently in 10th. Andre Serradio in 11th, while his teammate, Mahath Musa, in 12th position, trying to improve his lap times. He's got Mordred Claessens right behind him. And can he improve his lap time? Yes, he does. He puts himself into 5th place. Did Mordred Claessens able to use a bit of a slipstream to pull himself up? Doesn't look like it. Brandon Kruger up into 6th place, and the lap times coming down. The top 3 able to get into those 132s, but going down the field from the likes of 4th place all the way through to 15th position. It has all the drivers in 133, so expect a very, very close battle amongst the drivers to see what they can do. Harry van Zyl, though, up 0.2 on his last lap time, trying to carry the momentum through. Final corner was a little bit rough, though. Will it be enough to jump him up into 6th place? Not this time. Unfortunately, Harry van Zyl not able to improve on that one. Werner Skuman out on the track, one of the very few Mustangs that we actually have out on the track for the Pandacity Infiltrate Freedom team. And he's stepping up his game. He's currently 0.5 up on his last lap time, chasing down one of the yellow Mustangs that are out on the circuit. That would be Jaco Nadir, or it would be Fast Todd. No, that is not the case. Fast Todd is actually in the Ferrari. I do apologize for that one. That might be Terence Ferreira. Yes, it was Terence Ferreira that he was chasing down, trying to pull his way through. Terence Ferreira a little bit down the order to carry on. 2 drivers that haven't been able to put a lap time in is Barry Lubber and Thomas Stenik, who joined and is gone. So had a disconnect there. He's trying to get himself back into it. So now this is going to be a proper run for all our drivers to see what can they do, how can they improve their lap times, what's going to be needed to stand at the top of the listing. And taking a look to our virtual grandstand. It's always fantastic to see. We got LC Jubé saying, good luck, guys. We also got Technos. Hi, tried to come before the end of the quali. So one of our drivers that's saying, listen, I'm going to try to get back into the car and get racing to be part of this amazing run right here at RaceFace.Pro in partnership with SimGrid and SRO Esports as part of the Community Challenge World Qualifiers. And I've got to say, really, really excited for it. But at the end of this 4-race championship, only 2 will advance to the Community World Championship, brought to you by SimGrid and SRO Esports. So there is so much on the line, and our drivers know this. They know the pressure. They can feel what needs to be done. This is escalating it to an all-new height of note. Tector saying, I had a problem with my game, can't open. Maybe try a restart and come back in. It will be great to have you here, but it seems like a bit of an ongoing issue there. Hopefully you can get it all sorted out and join up with the field. It would be always awesome to have another car on the grid trying to improve. So, at the moment, Aspensky is the man to beat. But then we've got the likes of Henry Mayer, 0.6 of a second off. He is running a 33.2 on that last lap. Bernard Barkhuizen currently in 3rd place, only able to get a 33.4 on his last lap. Wasn't able to improve over his previous best lap. We got Fleming Bauer, who's currently running in 4th position, trying to carry the momentum through. Did a 34.9 on the last time. Let's see if he can improve that. His best lap time was a 33. Then you got Mahath Musa currently running in 5th place, getting a bit frustrated with the BMW, just not able to get the run. Brandon Kruger is in the pits. Harry van Zyl, who's a little bit further down, he's in 7th position. Also, best lap time was at 33.345. His last lap time was at 33.385. So it was so close to improving, but unfortunately, Messina is known to going and pushing the limits, and you can run the car out wide. You think you can use more of the curb, but unfortunately, it doesn't work out in your favor. So you've got to be so cautious on that one. And Adam currently 0.1 up on the last sector, so he is trying to improve. He's going to run into a bit of traffic ahead of him. At the moment, he's trying to open up the gap to Henry Mayer to ensure that it's a little bit further up the road, and he hasn't got too much of a worry as it goes. We do have the likes of Sparish Europe, all the way from, that should be India, I believe, in the Storm 99 Lamborghini. So he is out there ready to have some fun. Always good to see the drivers coming through. He's going to be taking on the South Africans. We also got Thomas Stanek, who is waiting in the pits to get out and get going. William Wentworth out on the track. He's down 32nd position ahead of Rob van der Heever. Elwin Prim also out on the circuit. Donovan Denun in the Porsche in the pits. Christian Zetterman in the McLaren. Farstar a little bit further down the order than planned. And Gavin Scruton currently in 27th position. So you can see a couple of drivers trying to improve their lap times every step of the way. But one person who has massively improved his lap time is Adam, managing to get a 131.8 as he came across the line. So this is just monumentally fast for him. Henry Mayer is only able to get a 132.6. Now that is Adam's fastest lap time throughout the entirety of practice as well. So he has done an incredible job there and has put enough spacing, I believe, at the moment to keep himself in a dominant position. Henry Mayer is going to try come back at him. Bernard Barques, no, from the Ominous Gaming KSR team, will be looking to improve. A team that's known in esports, coming from the world of first-person shooters. They transitioned over to having a world of sim racing, and seems like they're doing a great job of putting those cars out, actually sporting quite a few cars in the grid. Ulrich Diaga out in the grandstands. He's putting in a bit of support for Farmer and Rob. So that is Jason Farmer that he's going sporting there, which is one of our Porsches leaving to get on the track. Always good to see it. So lots and lots are going to be talked about. We do have mandatory pit stops in this race. That's going to test our drivers not only on brute force speed, but they're going to have to start looking at playing a long game. They're going to have to look at when are they going to pit, how late are they going to pit, how early are they going to pit, what's going to be needed to bring themselves up through the field. As time ticks away, 13 seconds left. Johan Kleinans 0.2 of a second up, going down 0.1. Crystal's currently 0.1 as they're trying to get themselves around the circuit. The Delta Negative team, can they improve their lap times? Both lost out that 0.1 as they come across the line. So not able to improve. Still Adam at the top of the charts. Henry Mayer retaining his position. Bernard Barkhazen is currently in third. Fleming Bauer puts himself into fourth place. Myeth Musa in fifth. Bago, Johan Bago Krobler in sixth position. Seventh is Brandon Kruger. Kerry van Zale comes across the line. He's not able to improve. Martin Rotenbach, though, also trying to get himself going and has a McLaren venturing off into the distance. Can Martin Rotenbach improve his lap time? And he does so. Jumps up into 18th position. So he's going to be smiling on that one as he comes across. So quite a few drivers looking to improve. Ryan Barrington-Smith still out on track, not able to improve his lap time. He's down 0.1 of a second in that last sector. So the Aston Martin not working in his favor. Werner Skuman matching his times. He's not able to push that car a little bit harder at the moment. So he's going to be thinking, what do I need to do? How do I get this Mustang to work with me? Remember, the Mustang has had the least amount of time on this sim. It is the newest of the cars that has been released by Assetto Corsa Competizione, and Kunos ensuring that that car is absolutely mint. Got a great sound to it, I won't lie. Great look, but unfortunately its pace just seems to be slightly off at the moment. So we're going to go back to the commentary box while we get ready to go racing once again, and we wait for everyone to get going. Danielson going and saying, come on, Hybrid Racing, Krobler and Burta, who are going out there, and they're looking to have a good bit of fun. So always great to see you guys in the grandstand supporting your favorite drivers, your favorite teams, and now with such a big opportunity in the world being opened up to sim racers, well, it's all on the cards. If you turned around and said you're the best sim racer in the world, well, this is the qualifiers that you need to be in. If you want to be the best and prove it, you have to be on the grid. And, well, we have quite a few drivers that are looking to be that very spec. They're looking to stand above head and shoulders. So we're going to be having a short start, so we're going to quickly go down and just take a look at our grid. Hopefully we can get through at least the top 10. So, that being said, we are looking to have a run here. Adam Spinensky will be charging his way through in first place. Henry Mayer in second place. Bernard Barkhuizen, Fleming Bauer, Mahaith Musa, Bego Krobler, Brandon Kruger, Gerry van Zyl, Johan Kleinans, Chris Stolz, Jaco Kutzer, Andre Serradio, Paul Fenter, Werner Skuman, Jason Farmer, Mordred Claessens, Charles Darden, Tianas Buerta, Martin Rotenbach, Ryan Barrington-Smith, Jaco Nadir in 21st, Henry Platt, along with Hansi Myberg, Ruan Cilliers, Ruan van der Walt, Terence Ferreira, Fars Tar, Gavin Scruton, Christian Zetzman, Donovan Denon, Elwin Prelim, William Wentworth, Rob Funnyheather, Thomas Nick, along with Spanish Yuri and Barry Lubber, rounding out our field here for round one. Lots of eyes being brought through of who's going to claw their way to the top. I mean, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. The RaceFace.Pro, part of the SRO esports, and being part of this amazing opportunity brought to you by SimGrid. Honestly, it is going to be a monumental run. Lots of support coming in, and the crowd's starting to get pumped up, just like myself. There's 2 mandatory pit stops that need to be done. That means you need to get in the pits, you need to put at least 1 liter in the car, and then get back out. Ensure that you got into that box as quick as possible, but as straight as possible. If you're at a slight angle and it lifts you up, moves you across, puts you down, lifts you up, back again, that immediately goes and nullifies your pit stop, making it 3 pit stops needed. So Adam going for the first time ever side by side with Henry Mayer as we look to kick it off of round 1. And let's see how Messino is going to treat our drivers as they lined up waiting for the green flag, and away we go. Adam off to a flying start, immediately cuts across the nose of Henry Mayer. Bernard Barkhuizen getting the drive. He goes side by side, looking to get past the likes of Fleming Bauer, but Bernard Barkhuizen trying to come back at him as they go side by side once again. Johan Bego Krobler, though, tucking in behind in the Porsche, going to put his nose in to try and look for a pass. But Henry Mayer and Adam have opened up a monumental gap to 3rd, 4th, 5th, and the entirety of the field, all looking quite clear at the start of the race. A little bit of argy-bargy in terms of mirror rubbing, but nothing going and causing the drivers to drop down. Mahaith Musa getting off to a great start. Brandon Kruger right behind him. Gerry van Zyl. Johan Kleinans a little bit further down, as it looks like Werner Skuman having a bit of a run with Andre Serradio. Jaco Kutzer going to try and go up on the inside. Can he get past Serradio? Tries to go for the inside, locking it down. Going to try and open up a corner a little bit more. Does so. Drivers absolutely going side by side as it stands. Chris Stolz also looking to improve, as we see the GT3 field making their way around the track. Mordred Claessens in the pink Porsche, the pink Rexy, going and getting a pass done on Jason Farmer. Jason trying to go for a bit of a cutback there. Couldn't get it locked in, and it drops down as well. So, Adam out in front, already trying to look at opening a second over Henry Mayer. Bernard Barkhuizen, though, is lying in 3rd place watching. It is a long game. It's an hour and 20 minutes worth of racing right now that the driver's going to have to go through. There's 2 mandatory pit stops, so whether you get it in early, get the car sorted, jack it up, jack it down, get that first stop out of the way, or whether you're going to go for the long game, well, that's going to be one to keep an eye out for as our drivers look to improve. We do have a bit of a yellow flag incident that happened at the start. That was with Terence Ferreira of the number 22. And let's take a look what happened to him. Terence Ferreira in the Mustang, heading into turn 1. Did the car get unstable? Did he have a bit of a problem? 3 wide, not working out there. Heading into turn 2, over the curb, and immediately coming to a stop. So Terence Ferreira running into a bit of a problem, and that has put him into the pits. Barry Lubber trying to improve, now having a Spirish dive on the inside and get past. So Spirish also looking to improve as they make their way around the track. So many different factors coming through for our drivers who can get the absolute best out of the car, because only the best will be moving forward. At the moment, the closest battle that is within our top 5 is Bego Krobler and Mahath Musa. These two know each other very, very well, and Project Vapor and Hybrid Racing usually have the same type of tactics in terms of pit stop strategies between one another. So expect to see a little bit of head games getting played off here. Mahath Musa will be pushing himself a little bit more. I know he's been doing some serious amount of practice, especially around Messina. It's a track that he's not too comfortable with, but he's looking to put as much pressure as possible onto the back of Bego Krobler, who has been doing quite a bit of racing in the Porsche, bar it on different circuits. Not really on the likes of Messina. A little bit of a nudge between the two of them, nothing too bad, but it does bottle them up and allow Brandon Kruger to get a little bit closer. Another little battle building up. Andre Serradio pulling away from Werner Skuman, who immediately has the likes of Jaco Kutzer and Chris Stalls in tow. So Werner Skuman's going to be feeling the pressure here and having to look behind him instead of ahead. And instead of going on the attack, he will be watching those mirrors, hoping, okay, right, what do I need to do? How do I need to move forward here? Because Jaco Kutzer is extremely confident on the braking with this McLaren. He knows how he can push the car. Werner Skuman, though, still trying to get to grips with the Mustang, but says it just worked for him. It feels good. He's going to keep working at it and improving. Well, he's got 4 rounds to get the best amount of points possible here. He has to go for the win. And I know there is lots and lots of pressure being added there. Andre Serradio of Project Vapor, he's going to be going and relaying a bit of information back towards Mahath Musa, saying, right, this is what the field's looking like. This is where we are. Plus, they have got drivers talking to them. A lot of these teams have engineers in their ears talking to them, working out the fueling, working out how they can improve, what's going to be the advantages for early pit stops versus late pit stops. At the moment, though, not a single car, except for Terence Ferreira, has been into the pits. Terence Ferreira is the only driver that has been into the pits. So there has been a bit of contact between the numbers 6 and 15 car. Let's go back to that. And that was Andre Serradio having a bit of contact, and I think this may have just been a little bit of late braking. Didn't quite expect the Mustang to come back. And, yeah, not really anything exciting there. Jaco Kutzer immediately onto the toe of him. So not an exciting problem coming into play, but drivers really starting to push those limits of one another. Martin Rotenbach feeling the pressure from Ryan Barrington-Smith, who gets a poor drive that allows likes of Tiernas Buerta to come back at him. So Ryan, unfortunately, going and losing that drive, loses a bit of time. Tiernas tries to go back at him, couldn't get it all sorted out, has to pull back. Henry Plitt is going and having a battle with the likes of Ruan Cilliers. He was able to get the pass done. He immediately goes side by side. They have got Ruan van der Walt right behind him, and van der Walt is going to push him with that BMW. He knows he can be a little bit more confident under braking, and the rotation is going to be a big problem for the McLaren. So if he can put them offline, no, there's contact. There is contact. And unfortunately, Ruan van der Walt getting involved in the contact there. Hansi Myberg getting away without any issues. But Gavin Scruton of Team Tryhard Racing, unfortunately, landing up with nowhere to go and had a slight bump right there. So there is going to be a couple of cars sporting some aero damage on them. Not ideal circumstances for the fight. Chris Stolz feeling the pressure from Paul Fenter, who's all over the back of him. The Aston Martin trying to get within that 13th position. Try close up to Kutzer ahead. Can see that Kutzer and Werner Skuman are having a ding-dong battle of note. He wants to get within that fight. He wants to join in and put his nose right into the mix. He knows that he can push the tires a little bit harder than planned. And Paul Fenter coming after a bit of a recovery from a broken toe and also a broken thumb that took him out of sim racing for a little bit. So returning back to us, he's looking to really stand on the charge to move forward. So great racing at the moment as drivers trying to push themselves a little bit further up in the field. We keep an eye on some of the closest battles that are currently out on track, but there is a battle starting to form, and it's Andre Serradio and Johan Kleinans, a rivalry that has been around for a good couple of years, now starting to reform right here for the RaceFace.Pro SRO Esports SimGrid World Community Qualifiers. I mean, this is just absolutely monstrous stuff. Clayton, so tucking to the inside wall. He's trying to utilize as much as possible, try and kill off any drive that BMW has. It's got a lot of low-end torque that will be able to get onto the 296 Ferrari of Johan Kleinans, but he does battle with a bit more understeer. Naturally, the car doesn't have a lot of rotation, so if you can try and get rid of the drive in and out of the corners, it will cause those rear tires to start battling all the way through. Lap times dropping down though. Adam going and putting himself with a 32.305, getting that amazing run. That it does look like yellow flags getting kicked up for the number 90. Let's quickly go and take a look at what happened for Barry Lubber in the McLaren, trying to battle his way through. Did he just get a snap oversteer? Yes, he did. Too fast into the corner. And unfortunately, McLaren doing what a McLaren does best, going and punishing you for getting it all too wrong. So that unfortunately drops him down. Interesting pit stop though. Jochen Redian in 34th position actually went into the pits, but did not line himself up correctly to get a fuel stop. So he did do a stop, but he didn't line himself up correctly. So that means he's going to be punished for it and will be doing a third pit stop to get it all sorted out. Martin Rotenbach fighting out with Ryan Barrington-Smith. Paul Fenter with a drive-through penalty. That is for track limits exceeded, getting a put on top of him. Not going to be smiling on that one. Going to be kicking himself a little bit and going to be thinking, what do I need to do? So he's going to get that pit stop. He's going to get that drive-through done as early as possible. You've got 3 laps to serve your penalty, and he needs to ensure that he gets it done and dusted. But that is dropping him way down the order, faster than planned. So let's see how it all goes. Andre Serradio feeling the pressure. He's on to the back of Kleinans. And then you got Werner Skuman and Jaco Kutzer behind them, also pushing as hard as they can. Pit window is now open. So if you haven't done your pit stop, if you did your pit stop before the pit window, that doesn't count as well. So pit window is open. Drivers have to get it all done and dusted. Andre Serradio with a beautiful pass, and it does look like Kleinan's getting the drive. Beautiful cutback, utilizing the rotation of the Ferrari. Is able to just slip in as the understeer kicked in of the BMW M4 GT3. So you can already start seeing the dynamics of the cars coming into play. Car choice is very important of what you can do. But also the Ferrari tends to go and eat out its rear tires quite a bit and lose that bit of momentum, much like what the Mustang does, where it starts losing the rears as much as you would think. It's putting more and more pressure onto the front, but the rears constantly stepping out, constantly sliding underneath you, does become a bit of a problem. The 296 Ferrari, on the other hand, puts a lot of pressure on the front and utilizes those fronts as much as it can. So it starts eating out those front tires, and you will start to feel more slip in the front. Your braking will start to move back by about 3 meters at the worst of it. So the drivers are going to have to keep that in mind, especially with a track that's currently 27 degrees. It is very hot out there, and drivers looking to get themselves sorted. Mordred Claessen's into the pits. He's getting his pit stop sorted out. He will drop down through the field, but getting his first pit stop out of the way early on to ensure that he gets the proper climb as things go. So let's take a look at our running order as it stands. It is Adam Spinetsky out in first place in the Lamborghini of ITB Esports, doing a great job out there. Henry Mayer currently running in second position. Bernard Barkhuizen in the third. Fourth place is Fleming Bauer. Following behind them is Johan Bego Krobler. Behind Musa, Brandon Kruger, Kerry van Zyl, Johan Kleinans, Andre Serradio, Werner Skuman, Jaco Kutzer, along with Crystals. Jason Farmer up into 14th, and 15th position is Charles Darden. Now we're starting to go a little bit further down. Martin Rotenbach in 16th position, chased down by Ryan Barrington-Smith, Tianis Buerta, Graham Scroton, and Ruan Saliers trying to get the pass done. He's not going to get the easiest drive there. Hansi Myberg, William Wentworth, 23rd, Fars Tar, Ruan van der Walt, Henry Platt a little bit further down. Donovan Denon is still out there in 26th position. Christian Zetzman, Rob van der Heever, Paul Fenter back out on track after serving his drive-through penalty. Immediately has Elvin Prim right behind him. Thomas Stetnick is out on track in 31st. Mordrake Claessen's in 32nd. He has completed his first pit stop and is the only car that has completed his first pit stop, might I add. And then you got Sparish Yuri, who is making his way through. Jaco Nadir trying to go side by side with him. Mustang and Lamborghini. Always good to see these two going and having a good fight at the back. Remember, it's about being out on the circuit to prove that you're the best of the best. And at the moment, we've got 36 drivers all trying to prove that they are the best of the best for round one of the qualifiers right here at Messina. And it's a very, very difficult circuit in the long run. But we're starting to see our drivers getting amongst the back markers. And this is going to change things up. As we already can see Mahath Musa battling out a little bit to try and get the drive, as Johan Baker Krobler was able to get past the Mustang of that would have been Terence Ferreira. So he's able to get past Henry Platt, getting a little bit closer to Ron van der Walt, and looks for the inside line. Couldn't get it all sorted out. Andre Serradio, Johan Kleinans going side by side with one number, the number 6 and number 11 going and getting around each other. So Andre Serradio gaining possession. Johan Kleinans, though, will be immediately putting the pressure back onto him, as we do see Werner Skuman coming into the pit. So he's trying to get that pit stop done and dusted early on and hope that he can claw his way back up through the order as the race continues. Remember, these are early crucial pit stops that can move you forward. We've seen drivers get towards the last minute to do that pit window. Flashing lights from Andre Serradio to Ferreira saying, listen, I'm going to get past you. You best mind out of the way because I'm not going to make it an easy one for you. Dives up on the inside. Immediately, that bottles up the likes of Johan Kleinans and opens up that gap and a bit of breathing room for Andre Serradio. So he's going to be smiling at that little move and busy going and thanking likes of Terence Ferreira. Mahath Musa into the pits as well. So Mahath Musa trying to get that stop done and dusted. He does. So now we're starting to see those early pit stops. Will they climb? Will Mahath Musa be able to gain a position? Will he be able to stay ahead of likes of Skuman? Well, that's only time will tell. So you see Crystals battling it out with Jaco Kutzer at the moment. Side by side they go, but Jaco Kutzer having a little bit more drive in the McLaren. The 720S Evo doing a phenomenal job out there and keeping the 296. Oh, a little bit of contact, under braking, and Crystals going and backing off the throttle, allowing Jaco Kutzer to go back and saying, look, sorry buddy, didn't want to do that. That was my fault. I'll put my hand up on it and hope to keep going. So always good to see a bit of a handshake between the drivers. We don't like to see contact, but it's always good to see that handshake saying, hey, listen, I got it wrong. That's my bad. Take the position. So let's go and take a look from on board. This is off the roll bar cam in the passenger side. 5th gear, carrying the momentum, runs out wide. And it's all about going down the gears quickly. Oh, did not expect the McLaren of Jaco to brake that hard. Got caught out and had to back out of it. So not ideal circumstances. Suddenly had that rapid closing and unfortunately side-by-side contact. Charles Darden getting overtaken by Ryan Barrington-Smith, making short work of him. And Ryan, part of the logistical nightmare racing community, going and taking on Charles Darden of Project Vapor, who is properly on a run, sporting a different livery to what we usually see in Project Vapor, more of a silver and blue. Gotta say, I quite like this of Charles. Carl, it's a little bit more refined. It does sit towards what the BMWs are. They're not really loud and shouty cars in terms of their liveries, other than very few. Alwyn Prim getting ahead of having Mordrake Claessen get ahead of him. So Mordrake Claessen making short work, gets acceleration, gets going. Mordrake Claessen, part of the drivers that got their first pit stop done. His chase is going to be getting ahead of Mahath Musa at this point, who is a little bit up the road. Werner Skuman has also done his pit stop, so he needs to try and push a little bit closer to get to Mahath Musa, who's running in 23rd at the moment and doing a great job in terms of the climb back. He's got Henry Platz a little bit ahead of him of Team Triad Racing, so let's see how he's going to make this climb. And a lot of the teams will be seeing what's the advantage in that early pit stop, that crucial 10 minutes sorry, that 15-20 minute mark is where it seems to be that first pit stop. I fully expect to see drivers going towards a 45-minute mark. That is heading into more of the halfway mark of the race. Get that first pit stop done, then towards the next 20 minutes, or heading towards the final 20 minutes of the pit window, get into the pits and get the car sorted out and back out racing. So they're going to be keeping a very close eye on one another. Gavin Scroton having a bit of a problem with Rowan Cilliers constantly onto the back of him, trying to accelerate, trying to push his way through, currently within that top 20 and making their way all the way through. So our leader at the moment, Adam, currently well enough ahead, 7.3 seconds on the timing monitor to Henry Mayer in second place. Henry Mayer trying to preserve those tires a little bit maybe, or just not having enough in the tank. Lap time, so, is starting to point that Adam is just about a second ahead, well, a second faster than Henry Mayer per lap. Bernard Barkhuizen actually matching lap times with Henry Mayer, so needs to ensure that spacing. Fleming Bauer will be also radioing in and saying, look, this is how far I'm sitting back. Please keep it in mind. Johan Bego Kroblev running in 5th place, going to be having a chat to his team, saying, right, what do I need to do to get this Porsche up? How late are we going to pit? What are we going to need to do? My tires are feeling like this as he pushes on. So, being one of the very few Porsches that are actually in the race, he's hoping that that little bit more of an edge might come in and have drivers guessing. I can tell you, though, during practice, we had a couple of these drivers actually working out each other's fuel and fuel per lap, especially when they're in the same car. So they started working out how much fuel will each driver need. That is just a little bit of a taste of what's been happening in the world of RaceFace.Pro for this race. And that was during practice the guys were doing it. It was absolutely tremendous to hear some of the thought process that come to it. As we go on board, this is off the rear wing, looking at Kerry Van Zyl in the BMW right behind the likes of Andre Serradio. Serradio playing a bit of a defensive game, but keep an eye out on Jan Kleinans, who's in the Ferrari just behind, starting to gently close up that gap. Not enough that it's going to be rather alerting to the drivers, but it will be a problem on the way through, because the likes of Serradio is very, very defensive, and there is a gap closed up. You can see how much of the space was taken away right off the bat, and that is not going to be ideal. As we go and take a look from, this is off the front splitter, and you can see how Jan Kleinans staring at the guy saying, right, I'm getting closer and closer to you. His braking is a little bit later, seeing how defensive they're going towards one another, trying to go for that defense and attack. Not working out. Kleinans is now closed up from 1.5 seconds, now down to 0.8 of a second. And that's how a fight can start being very, very detrimental to your race. So 7th, 8th, and 9th is going to be a fight to keep well awake of as they make their way around the circuit. Not going to be an easy one. The drivers will be trying to think, what's the long game here? Kerry Van Zyl suddenly realizing he's got a problem, getting caught out into the run. So Kerry Van Zyl is trying everything he can. Andre Serradio caught behind the number 90. That is a car that's being lapped. That is Barry Lubber that's ahead of him. Moves offline. They will lift as per the rules. He has to give a slight lift, allow the drivers to get past without having any problems, and then continue his race. Quite an easy one to do. It is one to think about. Paul Venter going after Rowan van der Walt. He will also be dealing with a lot of traffic as it stands. Maeth Musa and William Wentworth having a good go at one another. Wentworth unfortunately dropping a wheel off the circuit, now trying to pull himself back. Will have Van der Walt right onto the back of him. So interesting stuff. But Serradio in 7th, now feeling the pressure, as he's got Kerry Van Zyl, who is actually now pulling Kleinans along. Kleinans will have the slipstream to move himself forward as they make their way through. And Barry Lubber going in, having the absolute pound seat at the moment to see the fantastic racing going on. Kerry Van Zyl looks for that inside line attack. He's trying his luck, constantly putting pressure onto that right side and keeping Andre Serradio focused into the right-hand wing mirror at this point. But it seems like as he goes towards turn 4, turn 5, turn 6, that's where it all starts to taper off. That's where he tends to lose a lot of ground, and Kleinans is able to make up a fair amount of ground onto the back of him. So that is going to be a bit of a concerning factor. One of the other concerning factors that drivers have spoken about when I was chatting to them down in the pits is that constantly running onto these curbs is going and dropping the tire pressures down by at least 0.1 to 0.2 every lap. So they're going and losing a bit of pressure in those tires as they take a bit of a beating. So not ideal circumstances, but will keep everyone guessing. Crystals and Yokokutsa, they also playing a bit of a yo-yo battle between one another as we head back to Kerry Funzel, and he's trying to make his way past, not able to get it done and dusted. So drivers hoping to keep themselves on the top. Yellow flags for the 999 as it was shown. So let's go and take a look. What happened to the 999? That is Sparish Yuri, one of our international drivers coming and racing. New name to the grid and fighting out with some new drivers into the final corner. Did he get a bit of an oversteer? Yes, he did. And oh, contact into the wall as well. That is now a very, very damaged car, now needing a serious amount of repair work. So drivers starting to feel it at the moment, and each running into a world of hurt as time goes on and ticks away right here for round 1. And anything can be on the cards for the RaceFace.Pro SRO SimGrid Community World Challenge Qualifier right here at Messino. And it is absolutely stunning to see the drivers pushing themselves that little bit more, knowing that scoring points right now is what's needed. You got 4 rounds to maximize the points because only 2 drivers from this championship will be moving forward with the SRO SimGrid Community World Challenge and will be competing against the best in the world a little bit later this year. And honestly, to say that you have participated, even if you're at the back of the field, is always one thing to do because you've stepped up. The challenge was made and said, right, if you guys want to do it, best do it. Paul Fenter and William Wentworth having a good go at one another. Does look like William losing out of the position. Henry Platt getting side by side with likes of Van der Walt. They're going to drag race it all the way through, but that BMW just having the legs on likes of Henry, who tries to come back at him. Stuck on the inside though. He's not able to get the pass done just as yet. Gets his nose completely cut off by Van der Walt. He goes right across it, making sure that there is no way to get past. Goes and knocks the car off cam, so Platt had to lift off the throttle. He falls out of that rev range and now has to try and work his way back into the mix. Do not count out young Kleinans though, who is still in tow. He's getting pulled along at the moment, and that's what the drivers need to focus on. How is this going to go? So, for the people that have pitted though, let's take a look at it because Mahayath Musa has done his pit stop. He did a splash and dash. He was stopped in the box for 5.7 seconds during this whole event, in this whole ordeal. But remember, it takes nearly 42 seconds to get it all sorted. So if you want to go and get your pit stops done, you're going to have to bear that in mind. That's going to take a lot of time out of your race. 42 seconds is the spacing you need to ensure that you hold your position. And you've got to then try and get everything back up to temperature because you've waited a good amount of time. The tires have cooled down. They've gone out of their first heat cycle. You need to try and bring them back. That's if you haven't changed your tires as well. So if you change your tires, you got to get them into that first heat cycle, which is even colder than the tires that you started out with. So that is going to be another thing that the drivers will need to keep a very, very close eye on how these tires get to the drop-off point so they don't want to run into any issues as it goes. The grandstand's coming alive though, as drivers are keeping huge support for the teams out there, or drivers and spectators that are watching on and saying, come on guys, get this going, show what you can do. And at the moment, we've been seeing some great racing. It's been very few incidents out on circuit between drivers, and I've got to say the level of respect is immense. But this is what the world of sim racing is all about. Being competitive, showing respect to your drivers, and saying, look, you're either going to beat me fair or square, or we're going to just really hash it out. We're going to have a good one and do a great job. The respect that's being earned right now, everyone knows what is the stakes that is put on for them right now, and they are displaying themselves, their teams, and their countries in this entire SRO SimGrid Community World Challenge right across the different communities. I mean, you are representing so much right now. The pressure heading into this race is unimaginable for our drivers as they make their way through. Tennis Buerta trying to look on the outside, switches back to the inside. Charles Darden ensuring that he's holding his line. Charles Darden, though, very new to the BMW, and he is now trying out something a little bit different to his usual cars. He prefers the mid-engines. This time around, he's taking something that the rest of the team have been running in terms of Project Vapor, the BMW being their main car, which previously was actually the Aston Martin and the Bentley, if I remember correctly. I stand to be corrected, though, by the Project Vapor team on that one. But it's always grand to see the drivers moving their way forward, saying, right, we need to try and improve it. We're trying to work with the car and ensure that we can get going. Tennis Buerta, very well known with the McLaren. He's quite comfortable in the car in the first iteration and the second iteration that came out. The second being a little bit more stable, as a lot of drivers report, and also it goes and doesn't hurt the tires as much as the previous iteration. So going and relying on a bit of consistency there and trusting the brand. William Wentworth getting a very poor exit once again. Corner just becoming the Achilles heel for him, and that immediately has Kleinans, who dives up on the inside. Kleinans has done his first pit stop, remember. His eyes are firmly focused on ahead, Mahiath Musa, so he needs to start going and working through the drivers quite quickly and catch up to Mahiath Musa, who's running in 18th position. But very few drivers have actually done their first pit stop. So let's go through who's done the pit stops. Mahiath Musa has done his first pit stop, splash and dash. Johan Kleinans, splash and dash. Then we've got the likes of Werner Skuman, splash and dash. Drive through penalties being handed out to Yuri and Ferreira at this stage, so they got caught out with a bit of a problem. Mordred Clausen, splash and dash. Drive through penalty for the likes of Henry Plitt. We were just going and praising his name not too long ago, and he scores a drive-through penalty. He's got 3 laps to serve it. He'll be notified when he comes across the line that he's got 3 laps to serve the penalty. That adds an extra pit stop to his time. Not ideal circumstances, and I did say this track lends itself to having very harsh track limits. I've got to say, love the track. Don't quite like the track limits because, well, these marshals, these stewards, all watching with a finite eye, going and seeing if you go and drop a wheel off just wrong, they will give you 3 warnings. They'll say warning 1, warning 2, final warning, and then you get the drive-throughs. And that is 40 seconds you can scratch off already, as Paul Fenter was the first one to get the drive-through, can attest to it. It's 40 seconds. He still needs to get 2 pit stops done. So a lot of drivers starting to feel the pain, and it makes me wonder for our top runners that are out pushing the boundaries, like what Adam is doing at the moment, Henry Mayer and Bernard Barkhuizen. How close are they to getting those warnings as well? Because they are running right to the fringes of the circuits. They're getting to those limits and saying, right, I'm right on the edge here. What can I do to improve? What do I need to try and gain that 0.1 of a second? We're not even talking about half a second or 0.2 of a second. We're talking about 0.1 just to try and close up some gap. But unfortunately, it does impact the tires, as we see Bagar Krobler actually utilizing a lot of the curb. Ways that you can sort of circumvent it is you lift to try and have no time gain. But then that does open you up for another worst case scenario of you losing time. Andre Serradio getting caught up behind one of our back markers. Now going to be stressing out as he needs to try and get past. He's going to go off the racing line though. dive to the inside line, gets it all hooked in. As per the rules, for blue flags, the drivers are allowed to hold their racing line, but they are not allowed to fight for the position. So they can hold their racing line, they have to remain predictable, they are not to fight, and they can do a light lift to go and do it. You don't want to go completely off the throttle and end your own race, or make it unpredictable for the driver to catch up to you. So that is one thing to keep an eye out for as they make their way through. Tiana Spuerta and Charles Darden, they still in the fight with one another. Mahaith Musa, though, did run into a bit of a problem. The number 54 having a bit of contact. Let's see. That is with Ruan Saliers as they go side by side. Flash is on. Was that a thank you? Was that a hello? Was that a oops mistake? Still side by side. Ruan Saliers running him out wide. They are fighting for position, so all fair and love and war, but Ruan is making it very, very difficult for Mahaith Musa to get by, and absolutely love to see the door-to-door fighting that these drivers are doing, the respect that's coming into it. There is slight contacts here and there, but nothing too hectic. Ruan Saliers going and backing out of the fight, though. He was stuck on the wrong line, had a little bit of that understeer. That didn't come into effect, and couldn't get that nose turned in as quick as he wanted to. So, lost out a bit of time there. Tiana Spuerta and Charles Darden still closing up on one another. One of our closest battles out on circuit. Mahaith Musa, Ruan Saliers going past the likes that is Duman that they're getting past. The Porsche just keeping a racing line. Ruan Saliers onto the back of Mahaith Musa, focusing on the charge, trying to improve every step of the way. Not going to be an easy run between it. This is our closest fight out on circuit currently as it stands, with 35 minutes left of the pit window. If you pit after the window, your pit stop doesn't count. So you need to ensure that within 35 seconds, you're getting both your pit stops done and dusted. So there is no room for error. 45 minutes left of this race. It means that you're going to have a 10 minutes sprint race where you will not be able to pit. You will have to ensure that your car is completely fueled up and ready to go, that you're completely ready to go and make your way through. Tiana Spuerta is in the pits. He's going to lose out a couple of positions as our drivers make their way through. And Tiana Spuerta will be keeping a close eye on where the likes of Mahaith Musa will be later on, and the likes of Kleinun, since he's going to fall behind the two of them. Paul Fenter gaining a position. Remember, Paul Fenter has done a drive-through penalty, but still got 2 stops to go. He is currently lying in 17th position, so he's dropped down and he's picked up the pace, trying to close up the gap to the rest of the drivers. See where can he end up. But with 2 stops still on the cards, he's not going to be within that top 10 as he would like. So time ticks away. Drivers starting to get tired. Fatigue starting to kick in. Now, when we talk about fatigue, a lot of drivers and a lot of spectators saying, what fatigue can you get in from sim racing? Well, kid you not, ladies and gentlemen, mental straight, because you are focusing like no tomorrow to ensure these apexes are absolutely perfect. You are trying to push yourself that little bit more as you make your way through. So you are focused, you're hyper-focused at this point to ensure that you stand onto the top of the podium. Second to that comes down to the next one. Your eyes are taking a beating. Lots of eye strain comes into play. A lot of drivers actually prefer racing in a dark room and focusing on the screen. So you got bright lights going and constantly flashing, and depending on what your monitor is, your actual screen that you're looking through, and even if you're running triples, because that's going to be within the peripheral visions as it stands. So drivers are going to be well aware of that coming into play. So drivers will have to keep an eye on that and just pace themselves that little bit more. So eye strain comes into a problem. Your mental fatigue starts becoming a problem. Now let's talk about muscle fatigue. So sitting in a chair, non-moving rig, no vibrations, that type of stuff, your back starts to feel it hugely. If you're in a bucket seat, you are stressing at this point because your lower back is pain because you're sitting bolt upright in these seats. A lot of drivers have opted to go for a more reclined seat. They're able to have a more of a movable seat like what you have in your car. They're able to do that to try and make themselves a little bit more comfortable, but once again, it still takes a bit of an impact on you, so bear that in mind. Second to the muscles is working with the different level of gear. Some using like your Logitech G29s, your Thrustmaster I think it's a 298 or your T300s, where you're not really working your muscles too hard, but you are taking a bit of a beating as time goes on, just trying to get the car sorted out. Working on the focus. Your ankles are the one that takes a beating because you're trying to modulate your braking and acceleration constantly, so that takes a hit. If you've got load cell pedals though, that's when it starts going up. Your ankles, your calves, your knees start to feel it. And if you're running a direct drive, your wrists, your shoulders, and your elbows start taking a monstrous hit as well. So lots to talk about in terms of human anatomy that can land up in a problem, but that's why right now we have got the best of the best racing all across the world to go and show what they can do, and they are working through each of those. That doesn't sound like a problem now, but rest assured, jump into a sim rig and go drive for an hour and 20 minutes straight at full tilt with no mistakes and ensuring that you get top spot. Like what Adam's going through right now is not an easy time, full stop. Interesting enough, Bernard Barkhuizen, part of our top 5 that's actually pulled into the pits. So he is going to look back and see where Mahath Musa is. That is what he's worrying about at the moment. And for the Ominous Gaming team, they are busy saying, all right, let's focus on this, let's go. And they have got supporters in the grandstand that are bleeding green at the moment, saying, come on guys, let's see what the OG team can do, as they look to put themselves a bit further up. Bernard Barkhuizen in the pits, Jaco Kutzer in the pits. Then we've got Jason Farmer in the pits and Charles Darden getting into the pits. So we're seeing more and more of those drivers coming in. We're at 29 minutes left of our pit window. The 2 mandatory stops coming in. If you do not serve the mandatory stop, you will be penalized going into 130 seconds. That is absolutely detrimental to anyone's race. And you can ask any of these drivers that are racing within a second, 3 seconds, or even going 9 seconds. 130 seconds can take you from first right down to 20th at this point. So you've got to be so aware of it. As we saw our leader pull into the pits, Henry Mayer going and reacting at this point, pulls into the pits. Will Fleming Bauer? Yes, he does. He also goes into the pits to back up his teammate. Bego Krubler, on the other hand, Johan Bego Krubler, going to stay out. So he is going to try for an overcut versus an undercut at this point with 29 minutes to go. It is going to be a long climb for it. So that's going to be quite an interesting one there. Kerry van Zales into the pits, and Ryan Barrington-Smith also into the pits as well. I do see a bit of a yellow flag coming up for our number 77 car getting caught out. So drivers starting to figure out what's going to work. So Ryan Barrington-Smith going to keep going. Andres Radio is going to keep going. And Bego Krubler is going to keep going. Adam comes out in 4th place as it stands and will be holding that 4th place. So he is currently leading everyone that has done the first pit stop. He has put a good bit of spacing on and a bit of information here. He's put on a new set of tires. He was stopped in the box for 32.2 seconds. That is a new set of tires on the car. That means he's on fresh set of rubber. First lap is not going to be a blitz at the moment. Now he's trying to work it through that heat cycle to ensure he gets going. Let's see how is everyone else going to respond, because Mahath Musa did a splash and dash early on in the race. Bear that in mind as he's got pressure from Henry Mayer. So Mahath Musa is on an old set of tires that he started with. Henry Mayer has changed his tires as well. So he's 32 seconds. Bernard Barkhuizen's going and changing his tires. Fleming Bauer, Brandon Kruger, Kerry Van Zale all changing their tyres. Jason Farmer's changed his tyres. Jaco Kutz has changed his tyres. Tiernas Buerta has changed his tyres. So we do have quite a few other drivers that have decided to get those done and dusted. Johan Kleinans and Werner Schumann, keep an eye on those two. They have completed all their pit stops, so they are racing till the very, very end. There is no room for error. There is no damage that can get on those cars because a pit stop is the end of them now. They have done their pit stops. They don't want to get caught out, but they are way down the order, 21st, 22nd position as the timing screen starts to update. But Adam is the one to keep an eye out for the drivers. He is the goal. He is the bar at the moment for everyone to launch their way through. There you go, Krobler, opening a 5.4 second gap over Andre Seradio. And then you have got Ryan Barrington Smith 17.8 seconds behind him, trying to move his way through. So this is turning into a monster run between the drivers. And taking a look over to our grandstand, Tavero going and supporting out there, saying ominous power and bleed green as their go-to. They are supporting. Jan Bego Krobler, though, running into a bit of a problem. And for the number 15, so he landed up with a very slight touch on the way through, trying to get through a couple of back markers. And there is the two Ferraris ahead of him. So trying to get past. Did he get a little bit of argy-bargy on the way through? Was there nowhere to go? Now both Ferraris ran out wide. He got boxed in. Light contact on the side. Nothing dramatic there. But not ideal circumstances, because that does bring him into the world of Andre Seradio. So he's pulled into the pits. Andre Seradio is pulled into the pits as the drivers getting themselves sorted. That means Adam will be retaking the top spot, as he does see Ryan Barrington Smith also pulling into the pits. Did try and look at it, second guessed it. Said pit lane is a little bit too busy right now. He's going to go one more lap and retake first place. We've got Sim Racer Dino out in there in the grandstands as well, coming from the world of console racing and Gran Turismo, going and watching on for the racing at the moment for the RaceFace.Pro, SRO and SimGrid Community World Championship qualifiers. Absolutely tremendous stuff. Remember, at the end of the 4 rounds, though, only 2 will advance. So you want to ensure that you are either first and second every single race. Then you know you're in for a win. Then you know you are going to be representing your community, your country, your team, and yourself on the world stage. And with the SRO and SimGrid watching on and saying, right, let's see what people can do. Let's see how sim racers can stack up against everything that they've got. Who will be the best of the best at this point? Well, this is how you do it. This is part of the climb and is comparable to what is happening in the world of FIA with their esports as well. So with working in the ASNs, we've got that happening. So it's great to see how sim racing has gone from just a hobby to a full-on sport where drivers are taking it tremendously serious at the moment and trying to elevate their game, whether you're out on console, whether you're out on PC. And well, I'd love to say mobile would eventually get there, but I don't think at the moment. So drivers to keep an eye out for: Matthias Musa, Johan Kleinans, Paul Venter, Werner Schumann, Chris Stolz, Gavin Scruton and William Wentworth have completed all their pit stops at the moment. They are still up within a chance. Don't think they're close enough to take on the likes of Adam Spansky, along with Henry Mayer and Bernard Barkhays and Martin Rotenbach pulling into the pits, though. He's going to be getting his first pit stop done and dusted. Remember, he has not stopped as yet. 23 minutes left of the race, and drivers trying to step up their game. They're hoping that they can get within the fight. Ron Soler going side by side with Paul Venter. Does give him a little bit of a run off the circuit there, as Paul Venter mining out of the way. He does have Donovan Dunun getting past him, so Dunun gets past likes of Paul Venter, and now immediately has the BMW onto the back of him. So Rowan Celia is still needing to do 2 pit stops as well, so he's going to drop way out of this order. Not quite where he needs to be. Fleming Power trying to chase down, Bego Krobler trying to chase down, But so let's go through our running order as it stands. It is Adam Spinsky, who is currently in first place. Henry Mayer running in second. Bernard Barkhuizen in third place. Rowan Cilliers running in fourth. Fleming Bauer, Bego Krobler, and Brandon Kruger. But I am seeing yellow flags for Mahath Musa, the number 54, having a problem. He was one of the drivers to keep an eye out for. And that's Henry Plus ahead of him. Henry trying to keep it all together. Did the BMW have light contact? Did he not expect a braking zone? Did it snap out underneath him? Gets past Henry. And, oh no! Turn across the nose. Henry was trying to keep it all together, and that pretty much knocks that out of the park. Johan Kleinens, though, one of the drivers we said keep an eye on, gets a drive-through penalty. So he is down out of the fight as well. It is now starting to get that little bit of drama, and drivers are starting to push the boundaries a little bit more. Ryan Barrington-Smith is in ahead of this train. He is closing on Jaco Kutzer. That's ahead of him. So Jaco Kutzer, Ryan Barrington-Smith, Jason Farmer going and giving everything he can, and Martin Rotenbach all fighting it out. You can see our number 90 moving out of the way, saying, look, I'm not going to get involved with this fight. You guys get past me. I'm going to keep going. And that's Barry Lubber, who is out there doing what he can. And I've got to take my hat off to all the blue flags at the moment that are just giving each other enough space. They're going and watching out. But now we're going to have a four-way tussle. Ryan Barrington-Smith going around the outside of Jaco Kutzer, was able to get the drive. Jaco losing out time. He has got Jason Farmer looking up on the inside, trying to put that Porsche's nose into the back of the McLaren. And then you've got the Ferrari 296 of Martin Rotenbach into a fight as well, as 14, 13, 12, and 11th are all in a beautiful train as it stands. All mid-engines, well, except for Ryan Barrington-Smith, that's in the Aston Martin. He is the only front engine at the moment within this fight that is properly close to one another. Johan Kleinens trying to serve that drive-through penalty to get it out of the way as quick as possible. It doesn't want to land it up with a problem. So that's starting to open up. Let's head further up. 5th and 4th as the stand. Fleming Bauer and Rowan Cilliers battling out. Fleming Bauer gets past. He carries the momentum. Rowan Cilliers going to be pulling into the pits. He gets out of the way. And now leaves Fleming to go and keep going. Fleming Bauer knows Paul Venter all too well and will be talking, saying, right, buddy, give me a bit of room here. I need to start dialing my head in. I don't want an Aston Martin pressurizing me at the moment. You are a blue flag. You're a lap down on me. You're not my concern. You're not my fight. I don't want to be in a fight with you. And I think Paul Venter getting that message loud and clear was actually coming off the gas and saying, right, move, move, move. I need this toe to pull me up. So you either get those lap times or we're going to have a problem with the rest of the field. And I'm going to lose our positions at this point. Jaco Kutzer trying everything he can as they trying to get past one of the back markers. And Ryan Barrington-Smith was able to sneak by without too much of an issue ahead of that 296 Ferrari. Jaco Kutzer, though, gets bottled up behind it. Immediately has Jason Farmer capitalizing on the advantage. Carries a lot of the momentum through. Not running into a bit of a problem there. Now he needs to take that Porsche, that 369, car 369, that Porsche 911 911.2 GT3R to go and ensure that he can close up the distance to the McLaren ahead of him. Another fight out for position. 6th and 5th, it is Johan Bego Krobler and Brandon Kruger that are fighting it out. It is the OG team versus the hybrid racing. And for anyone that has never seen these two fight, Brandon Kruger and Bego Krobler will go door to door, wing mirror to wing mirror. They will literally lean on each other extremely hard to ensure that they get past. Both drivers don't back down from a fight, and they're trying to get within that top 5 at the moment. Brandon Kruger is holding that 5th place. He doesn't want to let go of it, but this does have a bit of a heated rivalry amongst the teams, a friendly rivalry. I say heated, it is friendly, but it is a bit of we want to one-up each other, and the last thing I want to have is getting caught out. And Brandon Kruger, feeling the pressure from Brandon Kruger, says, okay, look, let's get past, let's do what we can and move forward. Yellow flags coming up for the 225 car as we jump to Rowan Cilliers. They're going and fighting out. That is Werner Skuman, I believe it's behind him. Yes, it is. It's a full 3-3 car. The forward, going for the inside line. Oh, a little bit of contact there, very, very, very light. And Ruan just getting caught out. So a bit of contact between the two of them. The two of them were fighting for position, so you can't even say, no, that's a problem. They are fighting for position, so absolutely game on. As we see, Johan Bago-Krobler goes in for it. Brandon Kruger gets it sideways, does catch the car, but that throws it out. Brandon Kruger went for a drift of note there, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go back about 30 seconds and just go from the helmet cam and watch the steering input here. Brandon Kruger just got the fright of his life on the way through. Goes in for the corner, and the Ferrari steps in, counter steers, brings it back, able to go into second, into first, and tightens back into the mix. So the two of them really having a good ding-dong battle, but Brandon Kruger going and pushing himself out a little bit more. There is a change for a bit of contact between the 87 and the 15. That is Johan Bago-Krobler and the likes of Brandon Kruger, and that was on the return. So did Brandon Kruger get a little bit of a light touch trying to make up some time? He's got dirt on the tires at the moment, so he's not going to be too comfortable. And yeah, slight contact there. Johan also catching that tank slapper on the way through. So definite problems coming into the mix there. Mordred Claessens pulls into the pit, so he's going to be waiting out for the likes of Mahaith Musa. Interesting enough, Mordred Claessens, part of the Pandacity team, if memory serves me right, going and trying to improve. So he is looking to try and step it up. He's going to be watching the likes of Mahaith Musa very, very carefully and saying, look, I need to get past you. That's my target. I think he is going to lose out to Mahaith Musa. Werner Skuman is going to come out roughly around where Crystal's... No, he's going to be further back than that. So losing out tremendous amount of time and on a bit of a late pit stop. Last 15 minutes, and we saw likes of Bago-Krobler pulling into the pit, so he's trying to get it done and dusted. I think Tyre's screaming for mercy after that tank slapper, flat spotting them on the way through. And instead of continuing on, he's going to rather get the pit stop done and dusted, splash and dash, get back out, and get chasing. He doesn't want to hang around too much, doesn't want to land up with too many problems at this point. He gets all these pit stops done and dusted. He will be watching Mahaith Musa at this point. So Mahaith Musa is a target for everyone that has done their pit stops. Bago-Krobler, though, hoping to get out just ahead of him. Now dropping down the order. Mahaith Musa gaining a bit of time. I think is a little bit too far back. And that will allow Bago-Krobler, who is on the exit trying to get through, but in a bit of traffic. It is a very, very long pit lane. And gets on the gas. Charles Darden just ahead of him. Mahaith Musa right onto the back of him. So Mahaith Musa was not able to get that position. Bago-Krobler able to maintain ahead of Mahaith Musa. That is a positive note, but we'll have our drivers now saying, right, when do I get these pit stops done? I got 14 minutes left. Majority of the drivers have already done all their pit stops. They got it done and dusted. Bago-Krobler is now the mark where you want to stay ahead of. And that is going to be fed back to our leader, Adam Spinsky, who has then got Henry Mayer also getting that bit of information drawn back to him. Bernard Barkhazen will be having a chat. Fleming Bauer, Brandon Kruger, Harry Van Zale, Andre Serradio, along with Ryan Barrington-Smith, Jaco Kutzer, and Jason Farmer, along with Martin Rotenbach, Tiernas Buerta, all will be watching out. Tiernas Buerta, though, of Hybrid Racing Tryhards, will know his teammate, who's currently 2.6 seconds behind him. He's got no chance when he pulls into the pits, but will be getting a very close eye on the rest of the field and saying, right, when do I get this pit stop done and dusted? Run for the vault with a drive-through penalty, and that is for track limits exceeded. Not ideal circumstances for him. Chris Stalls trying to put enough pressure onto the back of Ruan Siliers as they're fighting it out, down for 18th and 17th position. Werner Skuman just ahead of them, though, loses out a lot of drive and now has run onto the back of him. So the Mustang once again having a problem with the likes of Saliers and Chris Stalls all over the back of him. Will be watching his mirrors left, right and center at the moment, hoping that to see where the guys are going to make the move, thinking, come on guys, you need to just go and battle it out. Ruan Saliers, if he gets past, isn't too much of an issue. He still needs to pit, but Crystals of the Delta Negative, that's running currently in 18th position, is a major threat to that run. So he's going to be keeping a close eye on the likes of Crystals, try and see where exactly he goes. If it means that Ruan's a little bit quicker, I would actually rotate the position, try and allow likes of Ruan to go and get past, but it does look like Crystals though is going to get past likes of Ruan Saliers. Saliers going to try to defend that inside line, very tight, and here comes Crystals for the undercut. Side by side they go. Oh, a little bit of argy-bargy there as Ruan's trying to squeeze him out. Crystals going and saying, right buddy, that was a little bit of a pressurizing situation. Not ideal. We're losing time to Werner Skuman. So these two in their own little scuffle running into a bit of a problem. Martin Rotenbach into the pits. So he will also be keeping an eye out on the likes of Bego Krobler. I don't think he will be able to hold that position at all as Bego Krobler and Tiras Puerta get past him. Crystals looking for the inside. Oh, nearly a close contact once again with that McLaren. So close onto the back of him. Trying to figure out where can he get past, how can he get past, what's needed to just get that one up at the moment. Sliding the Ferrari out, and it's just hammering the tires at the moment. Crystals has got a new set of tires on from his first pit stop, but his second pit stop he only did a splash and dash. So he's got to protect those tires as much as possible. Ruan at the moment is just burning those tires off. He's saying, right, you're going to have a problem with the grip. And that's going to allow the people ahead of you. Crystals going to take a late dive. They go side by side. And Ruan given no option but to just allow Crystals to get by. There was a little bit of a kiss on the way through, but nothing to upset the cars as Chris had to go and make an aggressive pass there. As Ruan was not backing down from the fight. He was not going to lose that on-track position out on the circuit, even though that he will lose it in the pits. He doesn't want to be losing out on track. Bego Krobler will be radioing in, saying, Tiras Puerta, come on buddy, we're going to have to go racing here. You are one lap, well, you're one pit stop needed, and you can see a little bit of a change around. This is quite handy for the hybrid racing, but you can be sure that Tiras Puerta is going to continue to put the pressure because he does not want to lose too much time as he battles his way through. He's actually pulled into the pits now to get it done and dusted. So Bego Krobler in for a shout for that top 10, and Jason Farmer, who is going to be keeping an eye out on where Bego Krobler is. Charles Darden still needs to do a pit stop. Ruan Saliers, Hansi Myberg, but everyone within our top 10 still needing to get their pit stops done and dusted. And we're now into the 9 minutes and 35 seconds to go. So this is really running late. But Adam at the moment lost that time of 1:32.9, which is a second faster than Henry Mayer at the moment. So Adam is a long shot way up the road, 24 seconds at the moment. Henry Mayer is going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat here. He's going to be a David Copperfield if he wants to get that first place. If he can hold on to second, he's maximizing the points in second place. That is going to help him through. Bernard Barkhuizen getting unsteady in third place. He also wants to ensure that he gets going. Bernard Barkhuizen has had problems in the past where internet was the bad luck charm. Disconnect and throw him out. This time around though, he is not having that issue. He's not going to worry about it. He's going to focus on it. So Adam at the moment is the guy to beat and is proving to be quite a formidable foe, and having the rest of the field looking at him saying, right, this is a problem guys, we need to figure out solutions here. What's going to be the way forward, because that Lamborghini is on rails and we got to get it all dialed in. Adam hoping to push himself that little bit more further up the road. Ruan Saliers getting ahead of Crystals. Crystals unfortunately losing that position once again to Ruan, and now having that tank slapper coming through those rear tires begging for mercy. I think he has got a loss of grip there, and we got the number 37 car going back out on track. That's 101, I do apologize. So Christian Zitzman going back out on track. He got a drive-through penalty. So the drivers are on the limits of what they're doing at the moment. The 526 getting a yellow flag out. That is Hansi Myberg of RaceFace.Pro making his way through, one of our admin team here at RaceFace. a very consistent driver who has not really the fastest out on track for pros, but has done well in the past in the Pro-Ams. And this time going and sporting a little bit of a different livery as a bit of a hats off, a little bit of a joke inside of the Twin Saver saying, you know, don't cry, have a tissue. So Ruan Cilliers going defensive. Crystals trying to swap around, not having an easy time there. Drivers trying to make their way through as they push on. At the moment though, let's take a look at the top gains and top losses. Ryan Barrington-Smith at the moment has done the most. He has gained 12 positions since the start of the race and is currently running in 8th position. So he's done an incredible job. One that's lost a lot is Johan Kleinans. He has been down 10 positions since his start. Started in 9th, he's now in 19th. So not ideal circumstances for him as he tries to make his way through. Jason Farmer into the pits. Charles Darden comes into the pits. That is going to immediately promote Mahath Musa further up through the field as he's trying to close down on Bego Krobler, who is 10 seconds ahead. So Bego Krobler is within a shout here. He's into that top 10 and is proving to be that little bit more formidable foe that the drivers are going to have to keep a very close eye on. He's 14 seconds behind Jaco Kutze as it stands. So that is a drive to keep an eye out for as our top 9 still need to pit. Saying that, Fleming Bauer immediately pulls in the pits. He's going to try for a little bit of a move, hopefully an undercut at this point. He's going to say, right, Henry, focus on the attack. You keep going. I'm going to go for an early pit stop. And then let's see whether the undercut or overcut is going to work here, because we go try and pull something out. Something has got to work as Adam is on rails. The only way we're going to get this right is either he makes a mistake out on track or it's going to be in the pits. And I have to lean that it is going to be in the pit stop. Hansi Meiberg minding right out of the way. Actually going so far off the track, he's visiting the rest of Messino and saying, right, I just want to see how it all goes. Adam pulls into the pits. Will Henry Mayer respond now? Because Adam's into the pits. Henry Mayer has an option. Go past, do an extra lap, or 2, or 3. How far can he go? It's 5 minutes in it. He's doing 1 minute 33s. I would give him about 2 laps to get this sorted, to pull a 40-second gap, or he's going to respond in kind. So he's going to go an extra further. He's going to go for the overcut here and hope that it's all going to work, and Adam gets caught out in the pits. Bernard Barkhuizen, is he going to respond with a pit stop? Will Brandon Kruger respond with a pit stop? Clary van Zyl is right up onto the back of him. So the Pandasti Racing going to push a little bit harder to see whether he can claw his way in for this fight. Not going to be an easy one between them. Adam is the one to go for, who is now just leaving the pits. So let's see where he comes out on track. Still in second place, Bernard Barkhuizen. Just not close enough. So Adam is in second place. That is Henry Mayer's worst nightmare as it stands. Brandon Kruger gets into the pits. So Adam has done enough to secure that top spot, because Henry Mayer, when he pits, that's it. He's down. He's into second. He's heading towards third. Adam would be securing first, bar anything happening out on circuit as it stands. So if there's a problem, if he lands up going and sliding out towards a wall, if he goes and lands up with a bit of car contact, that will be the only reason that he would lose first place as it stands. Running consistent 32s around Messino is just absolutely incredible. But this is the level of competition. I mean, all our drivers have been keeping within the 33s, 34s, even amongst traffic. Bego Krobler trying to make his way through, looking to get onto the climb. Will get ahead of Brandon Kruger, but is stuck behind Fleming Bauer, who's able to carry that momentum through. So Fleming Bauer is second of everyone that's done their pit stops. First, Henry Mayer, Bernard Barkhuizen, Clary van Zyl, and Andre Serradio still needing to get their pit stops done and dusted. Ruan Cilliers needing to get his pit stop done and dusted. I mean, this is just proper. And no, please tell me it's not so. Please do not tell me it's not so. I'm keeping an eye out. Bernard Barkhuizen off my timing screen disappeared. Clary van Zyl with a drive-through penalty, so he's going to have to serve that. So Clary van Zyl now needs to serve his drive-through penalty, get back out, and then get back into the pits. Andre Serradio getting his way through. Oh, please don't tell me it's so. I'm looking frantically. I could see Bernard Barkhuizen on my monitor. Well, on the timing, which we all see, but on my timing, I cannot see him. Please do not tell me it's so. Henry Mayer out in first place. Adam Longson's gone. He is now up towards the top of the charts. Please do not tell me it's so. Bernard Barkhuizen has worked so hard. Okay, he's still out on track. So, did have a blip in terms of on the screen, on the timing that came in. For a minute, I thought internet was it. A little bit of light contact though for Adam though. He had a bit of a contact. So while we were stressing, I will not lie, stressing like no tomorrow, Jaco Kutsa, who also gets a drive-through penalty as well, landed up with Adam into the back of him. So Adam gave a little bit of a touch there. Jaco now having to serve a drive-through penalty. He has done all his pit stops, but that's not ideal. Kerry van Zyl needing to do one more pit stop. 1 minute and 14 seconds to do it though. It's going to be incredibly close. But Henry Mayer now coming out of the pits will be in second place. Bernard Barkhuizen trying to come through. I think Adam has done enough. He's got those lap times to put it in the bag. Bernard Barkhuizen though in third place will not get ahead of Henry Mayer through the pits. So it's going to be a slugfest all the way to the end for him as they make their way through. So Adam's done a great job there to secure his position unless something goes wrong in the final 10 minutes of the race. And I promise you folks, I'm holding my breath as much as possible for every single one of these drivers. There's so much on the line right now that it is absolutely... To put this in perspective, this is the World Cup of sim racing that we're watching right now. Ryan Berrington-Smith, he had a bit of a moment, got a yellow flag. 16, 15, 14, 13, so pit lane going to close. And we will hear Jim come over the radio and say, pit lane window now closed in 3, 2, 1.
The pit window is closing now.
Thank you, Jim, on that confirmation. Gotta love Jim. Works incredibly hard as a official and talking to the drivers. And then we do have Tim on the cameras, who is going in, walking around, well, running, teleporting, flying, whatever you would like to say, ensuring as he's giving us all the amazing shots. Paul Fenter with a drive-through penalty as well. So not only Jaco Kutsa, but Paul Fenter scoring it as well. Oh man, absolutely gut-wrenching to see that happening, especially in the final runs of the race. That will drop him down out of the top 20. And oh, was on that climb, but just couldn't get it going. On-track battle, though, closest that we've seen, Jason Farmer, Kerry van Zyl. They were 0.5 of a second between one another. Kerry van Zyl trying to get a little bit more of a drive. Looks inside, looks outside, couldn't get it going, backs out. I think the BMW starting to struggle with its tyres once again. Jason Farmer in a car that's got a little bit more rotation, is a bit more comfortable, and that Porsche is able to just battle its way through. So Messina does lend itself to tracks like this to have that bit of rotation. Lots of strain, lots of graining starting to come into effect. Mordred Claessen's trying to move his way up. He's onto the back of Johan Kleinans, looking to try and get past. Not going to be an easy time here. These two know each other very, very well. As Kleinans runs out wide, Mordred Claessen's right onto the back of him, hunting him down. This pink Rexy is going to go absolutely all the way through, hoping that it will be enough to charge his way around the track. Not going to happen just as yet. Kleinans will be getting past with Mordred Claessen's ahead of Jaco Kutsa, so he's going to drop out of that top 15. Not ideal circumstances for the likes of Jaco Kutsa, as we could just see him in the outshot there, the McLaren in the Golf colours, pulling out of pits. So really, really run to it. So Mordred Claessen's and Johan having a proper go with one another. And now it is just a run all the way through. Kerry Van Zale also trying to put his nose in to Jason Farmer. Pushes him out wide and goes for the pass. Nah, lost it. Just couldn't carry the momentum through on the run. So drivers trying to figure out how they're going to get through. Drive-through penalties being served out on track. So as it stands, it is Adam Spinensky currently out in first place. Henry Mayer in second. Bernard Barkhuizen in third. Fleming Bauer in fourth. Bego Krobler in fifth. Johan Bego Krobler along with Brandon Kruger in sixth. Andre Seradio, Mahayath Musa, Werner Skuman, and rounding out our top 10 is Ryan Barrington-Smith. As it stands, 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go though. It is all on the cards for these drivers. Anything can happen, and it's all about maximizing the points. To prove you're the best of the best, you have to be in without a shout here in the world of the RaceFace.Pro. And honestly, it has everyone, including myself, just sitting, waiting, wondering what's going to happen for the RaceFace.Pro SRO SimGrid Community Challenge Qualifier Round 1 of 4. And Kerry Van Zale keeping within the fight there. Jason Farmer starting to feel the pressure. They are fighting for 12th and 13th position. This is now just bragging rights between one another to say, hey, I got you. And to carry some positive points heading towards round 2, which will be next week, ladies and gentlemen. Same time, same place right here at RaceFace.Pro. But we will be swapping out the circuits as well. So everyone that thinks that you're going to be having fun at Messino, that your car works very well here, well, let's put it to the test as they battle their way through. The grandstands are alive. They're waiting to see the checkered flag in the last 5 minutes. We're keeping an eye on the closest battle out on track. And it's Jason Farmer versus Kerry Van Zale as they battle their way through. Jumping on board the Porsche at the moment. Looking back at Kerry Van Zale, who is hunting him down. Looking for a way. Trying to see where can he put the big nose of the BMW right into it. The beaver teeth needing to get past ahead of the Porker as it stands. This is going to be hard work for both as they make their way through. Who will be able to get that climb? Who will be able to see that top running? As we take a look at Kerry Van Zale, they got past. That looks to be Henry Plitt, who is suffering a bit of damage to his McLaren that they went past. So Henry Plitt with a front end just not ideal. You can see it's actually quite broken there. Fortunately, I think he caught the wall and spun out. So not ideal running for him. Been a bit of a nightmare for the number 9 car. And let's actually take a look if we can see where the contact came in. Did he have that snap oversteer? Having a bit nice sketch design. It reminds me very closely of Borderlands going and having that same design. And he goes out wide onto the marbles, snap oversteer, and thud into the wall. That is severe damage to his car. So back up to our live action of Kerry Van Zale and Jason Farmer having a good go at one another. They're going to push it all the way through. 4 minutes to go, and we will have Jim momentarily within the 4 minutes say, right, leader is on the final lap. And that's when we'll be taking a look towards the front end for round 1 of the RaceFace.Pro SRO SimGrid Community World Challenge Qualifier Round 1. Which has been absolutely tremendous at this point. Everyone looking to try and take momentum into round 2, which will be Silverstone, happening on the 4th of July, so bear that in mind. Martin Rotebach, Charles Don, they're going side by side. Charles Don, though, getting sent off into oblivion. He went to the Shadow Realm there, tried coming back, went into the door of Martin Rotebach, and that has now thrown him into the clutches of Jaco Kutzer, who is now on a desperate climb back after the drive-through. Oh no, Charles Dodd, and in the last 3 minutes, a drive-through penalty, and he's missed the pit lane now. Oh no, that is gut-wrenching. The last 3 minutes, and he got a drive-through penalty. Oh man, oh man, that is just, that is how you get your heartstrings ripped out, ladies and gentlemen. Kerry Van Zale going side by side with Jason Farber. Jason taking the inside line. He's going to try to carry his way through. But that's how quick things can change in this race. Jason Farber, Kerry Fitzel, they are battling for 12th and 13th position as it stands. Our top 10 looks like it's all secured as it runs through. No one able to get close to Adam at the moment, who's in first, but we do see Kerry Fitzel get the pass done on Jason Farber, carries the momentum through, gets it stuck in, stops dead on the apex. Jason Farber unable to react on that one. He will have to sit behind, and I think he has lost out too much of the running pace. There is nothing that can be done at this point. He's going to have to really go and send it. It's going to be a lick it and send it. It is going to be from all the way back. He's going to be on the third line. He's going to have to try pull a rabbit out of the hat. It's going to be a David Copperfield for them on the way through. 1 minute and 42 seconds to go for round one. Here in Kleinans, Mordred Claessen's having a good go at one another. Mordred Claessen's actually switching over from the BMW. Charles Darden with a drive-through penalty. Ruan Cilliers with a drive-through penalty. That is track limits and trying to serve it within 1 minute and 22 seconds. Remember, if they don't serve it, they will get penalized after the fact, and that is not ideal for your race. It's not how you want to finish round one. You want to be smiling at the end of it. And yes, even though the cards weren't in your favor this time, you want to ensure that you get going. So Jason Farber went flying, and generally one would think he would be sorting out the crops. Didn't know he enjoyed going with a Boeing. So Mordred Claessen's keeping the pressure on the Delta Negative driver of Johan Kleinans. Tucks in underneath the rear wing, hoping to push himself a little bit further. Carrying the pace. Can he get the drive?
Leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
And there we go. Confirmation. Our leader is on the final lap. Adam Spinensky, from the start of the race, has been a dominating factor. Oh, Ruan Cilliers with a stop-go 30-second penalty. And he can't serve it. He can't serve it. That's it. So with 10 seconds to go, we are watching our leader. An absolutely dominant run for Adam Spinensky. And what a run it's been for him. Start of the race, 32 seconds. Oh, Gavin Scruton with a drive-through penalty as well. He can't serve it. Gavin getting a drive-through penalty. It's falling apart, ladies and gentlemen. Drivers are falling apart right at the last. If you think that you couldn't get caught out, so Gavin's trying to serve that drive-through penalty. It was early enough that he could get into the pits to try and maintain and only lose 40 seconds versus 130 seconds. But on the way through, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what a absolute race. Adam Spinensky is going to be taking round one of the RaceFace.Pro SimGrid SRO Esports Community World Challenge Qualifier round one.
The leader has finished the race.
First time versing the grid, and he has got it. Absolutely monumental. From the fastest qualifying time to scoring the win. Henry Mayer, though, will be finishing up in second place after giving it everything he's got right to the end. He will be walking home with second. That is great points moving into round two. But well done to Henry Mayer, and being first of the South Africans to come across the line. That is a big, big step for him. Then we got Bernard Barkhuizen finishing up in third place for the OG KSR team. He has had a monumental run and will be smiling on the way through, taking third place. Great show from him. Fleming Bauer finishing up in fourth place. Bego Krobler will be finishing up in fifth. Brandon Kruger in sixth. Andre Soradio in seventh. Mahath Musa, Werner Skuman, Ryan Barrington-Smith, Chris Stolz, Kerry Funzel, Jason Farber, Johan Kleinans, Mordred Claessen, Stianis Buerta, Jaco Kutzer, Martin Rotenbach, Paul Fenter in 19th position, 20th, Charles Darden. Then we have got Gavin Scroton, who served his drive-through penalty. get it all done and dusted. Hunty Myberg going to put a bit of pressure onto him, but I think it's going to be too far back. Gavin's going to finish ahead. Hunty Myberg in 22nd. William Wentworth finishing in 23rd. Then it's Ruan Cilliers. 25th is Jaco Nadir, Henry Platt, Donovan Dudon, Ruan van der Walt, Rob van der Heever, Christian Zetzman, Faz Tar, Elwin Prim, and Barry Loeb in 33rd. 34th, Terence Ferreira with that early time. So, what a run from them. I mean, that was just a... wow. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I don't know what to say. What a race. Just what a race to the end. And well done to all our drivers on that super effort. And we got to see round 1 of the RaceFace.Pro SRO SimGrid Community World Challenge Qualifier. Round 1, the checkered flag got pulled out. And Adam taking that win, dominating it. Henry Mayer in 2nd place, gave it everything he's got. Poured his heart and soul into chasing down and just missing out. Let's take a look at a couple of the highlights, though, of the start of the race and also a little bit further in. Everyone looking to try and improve on the way through. And I'm out of breath, ladies and gentlemen. I'm seriously out of breath because what we witnessed was some incredible racing from all our drivers who were able to claw their way to the front. Man, oh man, what a run. So, lots and lots to go on, lots to move forward with, and honestly, a congratulations to all the drivers to get it together. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to get an interview with our top 3. They must be going and getting a bit of a sigh of relief at the moment after having a monumental race like that. So we're not going to have Adam by the looks of it. We're not going to have Henry Mann. We're not going to have Bernard Barkhuizen, which is quite unfortunate. It would have been nice to have a chat to them, especially after the race. And it does look like we're not going to have the rest of the field to say a couple of words to give us a bit of an insight from their side. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to say a monster thank you to everyone joining us here in the virtual grandstands for this monumental race. A massive thank you to SimGrid and SRO Esports for being a part of this amazing championship and giving us the opportunity. But I've also got to say a massive thank you to our sponsors right here at RaceFace.Pro, the likes of Red Star Raceway, newly coming on board, SA Lube, a long-standing partner, Ondorf Machinery being a part of it. It's always great to have the guys coming and being part of it. Also, the likes of Scallywags jumping on board to be a part of this championship as well. Always exciting, new sponsors, being a part of a history, a legacy that is being built. But a massive thank you to you all. That being said, though, with all the excitement, let's talk about what's coming up next week, because we're going to be heading to round 2 of the championship, and we're going to be heading out to the one and only Silverstone racetrack. Absolutely stunning to see it. Drivers are going to go and battle it out to and fro. Will we have some exciting moments? Will we have a little bit of a Hamilton, Max Verstappen type vibe? Will Henry Mayer be able to get the pass over Adam? Or will he get caught out right at the last? Will Bernard Barkhuizen be able to undercut and get his way to the top? Only time will tell right here at RaceFace.Pro. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon, and leave a like. Let me know, what was your favorite part of the race? What is your favorite part of the championship with the other communities that are running this very same qualifier right across the world? And let's see, by the end of it, when we get all the best of the best. Remember, only 2 will be progressing by the end of the qualifier right here for the RaceFace.Pro side of things and taking on the rest of the world. who will stand tall amongst everyone, who's going to be the fastest and be the very first SRO esports community world champion. You're going to have to keep an eye on that, and all the news will be coming through. So hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, and we'll see you at Silverstone right here at RaceFace.Pro. But a big thank you to you all, and to all the petrol heads. We'll see you next time. And from myself, Stephen Koenig, like always, I'm going to say the usual, say the same, and if you just joined, well, you get to hear it for the very first time. A good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, and good night, everybody.